guys, welcome back. It's your girl Brandy J here on Intellectual Radio. Another beautiful Wednesday. I know I haven't seen you guys in a while. It's been a minute, but me and Nigel the Great. How you doing, boo?
I'm good. Glad to be here once again. Thank you for
Glad
having
to
me.
have you here. We're here in the building and we're going to be talking about quantum physics and quantum healing, right? But before we dive into that, let's just start with today's show. It's always brought to you by True Essence. We are a unique spiritual spa located primarily online. You can check me out on IG. That's Brandy 3 J underscore. Go into the bio, click the link for the website, tap in with your girl. We have all the spiritual tools that you need to ascend in your healing journey, right? So again, last conversation we left off with shadow work.
Yes.
Everything was about shadow healing, being able to own your dark matter, being able to own your subconscious thoughts, being able to own the darkness within you and not running from it, right? When you see your shadow, you don't want to run from it. You want to
Embrace it.
embrace,
Walk with it.
walk with it because it's a part of you.
Yep.
So now that we gotten over that, right? We're into a new year. The spring is coming up. I don't know how many of you guys are ready for spring.
Oh, I'm
Spring is when things blossom.
ready.
Spring is when things blossom. So this is the time to blossom. So today is the perfect time for us to talk about quantum healing. All right. Quantum physics, metaphysics is all of what we talk about on this show. Understanding that you guys are multi-dimensional beings. All right. There's multi facets of you that lives in this prism, that lives in this light dimension, right?
Yes.
So there's different dimensions, there's multi dimensions of you, and on a conscious level and a subconscious level you have to be knowing of that. So we're going to talk about how to basically quantum leap, how to basically learn how to use your quantum mechanics, how to be the best version of yourself, and how to pretty much parallel shift.
Yes, and we're also touching on epigenetics, which is by process when we are going through quantum healing, it changes our DNA code and we can activate certain genes to help propel ourselves and our offspring forward in a more positive, disciplined direction.
Absolutely. With that being said, Nigel, let's jump right in, right? So, in this experience, as far as being a multi-dimensional being, you have to do the work. We first started with the shadow work, right? But one has to know who you are and where you deem to go, right? So you have to be conscious of who you are entrenched with. Quantum entanglement, right? And we ain't talking about that Jada and Will entanglement.
We definitely talking about that.
Yeah, that's a part of it.
We're definitely talking about that because even in the use of the word on a energetic level, it altered everything regarding their business, their
Yes.
relationship. That's a perfect example of um entanglement.
Yes,
Quantum
because
entanglement.
who you are around, who you coexist with, you are energetically feeding off of them and they are feeding off of you. So you want to be mindful of who you're sharing your energy with. Who are you sharing your energy with, and does their plan and their goals serve your higher purpose, right? Mastering the vibration of your desired destination. Where is it that you want to go? And mastering that reality. The only way you can master that reality is one, becoming one with yourself and your consciousness, knowing where it is that you deem yourself to go, and being around like minded individuals that's going to help you get to your goal. Like to my left, I got Nigel the Great. Because listen, we quantum entangled now. You ain't going nowhere. We locked in, boo.
Since 2016.
Since 2016, since I met her at my place of business, and we've been growing since. And Naja is just such a forward thinker. She's such a wise young woman.
Oh, don't play.
And and I say that with because I'm very mindful who I share my energy with. And I will encourage you guys to be the same. And I haven't always made the best decisions on who I share my energy with. So you have to be mindful of that. So epigenetic energy healing is a part of that. And you mentioned that in the beginning of the show. So for those who do not know what epigenetic healing is or epigenetic memory is, which is a stored trauma within your DNA, it studied the changes of your expressions through a cellular molecular structure, right? So your DNA is always taking in information, right? When you are sitting in front of the sun, You're receiving photons, which is information that's being downloaded into your DNA. When you're around people, their energy, their words, the things that they do is programming your your DNA. Your ancestors do slavery. That's being programmed in your DNA. This is what we call epigenetic memory, right? So we need to be mindful of our place in this reality and our genetics that's living within us and how to atone with that.
Yes. And different ways that you can fine tune your energy once you recognize that something may be off is by going to get Reiki healing, listening to sound bowls at a certain frequency, visualizing, seeing yourself and acting in this current moment as if you are in the state where you want to be. That all alters your reality going forward. If I believe that I am wealthy now and I start acting as if I'm wealthy, I eat a certain way, I iron my clothes, I listen to a certain amount of certain type of music, that's ultimately going to put me in a position to receive. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And really what Nija is speaking about is time being able to lapse the time. Time is an illusion, right? We are all living in this reality. Past, present, and future is happening simultaneously. And if you find yourself in time loops, it's quite common that you have some type of subconscious thinking or bad programming, if you will, that's going on in your mental capacity. So you need to one be conscious of what that bad programming is so that you're not caught in that constant time loop, right?
And not only to mention, you be progressively moving forward, but the person who you are sharing your body with may not be, and you guys are feeding off of each other's energy. So you could be propelling forward, ready to make changes, progressively making changes. But if there's blockages within the person that you choose to lay next to or to eat with, break bread with, that's going to keep you in that hamster wheel as well. So being mindful of who you're sharing your time, energy, body with, that plays a big role in your progress involvement.
It does. And I think we take that lightly because, especially for empaths, people who are more sensitive to others' emotions, and you want to be that helping hand, right? You want to be there to assist people in their journey. But you can't always be that for someone because you have to be mindful that, hey, I have to get to my desired destination. And if you are not energetically matching the vibration that I'm on, I have to
Part ways.
have to part ways, right? Because time loops is also toxicity. And if you find yourself in a toxic environment, guess what? You can become addicted to it. You can become addicted to toxicity.
It becomes normal to you.
It becomes normalized because this person is always talking negative.
You grew up,
You
your
grew up.
mama and daddy saying this, that. I've explained to someone earlier, you could be wanting to change and shift directions in your life, but even the person who had you could say, you act just like your daddy. You'll never be able to do X, Y, and Z because he wasn't. They're stunning your growth. You have to have boundaries and preserve the shadow work and preserve your healing process. So it's not always, oh, I have to cut everyone off. It's also filtering what you allow. You are responsible for what you allow into your atmosphere. And that's just one of the
Man, that and
things that
that's
we preserve.
that's absolutely. And because toxicity becomes a part of people's makeup and then they project their own insecurities onto you. They're saying, oh, it's too late for you in the game. Oh, you can't do this. You're not good enough. You don't look pretty. You don't look like everybody. You don't have enough money. You don't have enough clout. You don't have enough this. People will project own insecurities onto you. So this is why it's so important for you to know yourself. Know thyself. Know where it is that you want to go and be sure of that, right? And toxic addictions can show up in so many ways, but I'm going to name a few that we're all familiar with. But again, we sometimes tend to like blow them off, right? Like, oh, that's it. But toxic addictions is substance abuse, right? Gambling, internet, porn, workalism, being too addicted to work, being too addicted to helping others, food addictions, shopping, exercise. Oh, I gotta get this body right. Or I gotta go lay on the table. Or I gotta get this face right. Or I gotta get my lips, this, that, and that. done. And I'm not dogging anyone who has done that, because I too have shared and doing certain things. But what I'm saying is that you
Your
can,
reason why.
you have to get to the reasoning of why. All right. It could be relationship additions. You want this relationship so bad, you're willing to compromise yourself. You're willing to compromise the greater part of who you are. Remember, going back to the beginning statement, is that we're multidimensional beings. So, in some quantum level, your highest self, the highest part of you, is already in existence. You just have to time jump, time leap, quantum leap to that person, right? That's when you're time traveling. So we think as time traveling as this like crazy,
Odd
like this
program.
crazy thing. No, we time travel all the time. When you do meditation, visualization, and all these different things, you're time traveling. You're getting into who you are, the true essence of who you are. So also self-harm. Self-harm is a big part of that, because again, you become addicted to toxic traits. So in that, you're harming yourself by being around people that cause you harm and or confliction. So healing from these toxic traits can be huge. But one thing that you may need to know is, one, first, self-awareness. How does self-awareness play a part as far as being able to heal from these traumatic experiences, Nigel?
So self awareness is very vital and key in assessing what am I producing myself and what am I absorbing. Once you can get a clear distinction of what am I producing from myself, my spirit, my my lack of discipline, my discipline, you can know, hey, you're projecting on me. I don't appreciate that. Establish a boundary. You can set clearer boundaries. You can set goals that are realistic. You can forgive yourself. You can have mercy on others because, we all deserve grace and mercy.
Yes.
But self awareness is key in quantum healing because you know what's you versus what's being put on you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'll add to that as well. You can also seek support. A lot of us is talking about mental healing. And so seeking a counselor or a pastor or even a friend, a family member, but seek support. Also practice self-compassion. Sometimes it's as simple as loving yourself.
Yep, and accommodating yourself.
Yes.
As I stated in the last segment we did, I am allowed to take up space.
Yes.
That you can't get there without knowing self and being aware of self. Even like you said, through utilizing services like therapy, counseling, I figured out I was an introvert whole time. My entire life, I was
I
pushed to
don't agree with that,
perform.
you guys.
I was pushed to perform extroversion so that I don't become a perceived threat to those around me. So when I do get burnt out, it comes off as irritation. Oh, she got an attitude when I'm really just overstimulated. When I could have made accommodations. Instead of spending an hour in a grocery store, I could spend 15 minutes on my phone doing drive up. I'm making accommodations for myself so that I can preserve my energy that I'm harnessing to utilize it in spaces that I feel like it is appreciated.
Absolutely. I love that way of having self compassion for yourself. And to Nigel's point and my point earlier, I don't believe you're an introvert. You're a little bit, but you're, you know what? And in observing you over these last few years, which I have had the privilege of doing so, I see your extroverted ways coming out, and I see that you are speaking your truth and owning it. And that speaks volumes into who you are and who you're becoming.
Yes, but I also put my phone on do not disturb and I don't answer. So that's my introversion. I can perform extroversion when the energy is going towards something that is productive. But when I find myself producing extroversion in vain, I get depleted socially. So, yes, to your point, we're here sharing information. My energy is going to a place that's being reproduced and replicated for the good of all and the harm of none. I feel great about it.
I feel great about it
Yeah,
too. Absolutely.
but
It's
my
some.
phone will be off.
And you know what, guys? I get on her so much about this phone being off. I'm like, it could be the emergency.
Call on God.
Right. Call. You better call Jesus. You
On
better
purpose.
call on Jesus. 911. Also, taking responsibility, acknowledging the impact of your own toxic traits and how that affects others. Take responsibility when you're reflecting. Take responsibility and ownership for your role in whatever environment you find yourself in. Also, setting boundaries. Setting boundaries is super important. It establishes a healthy coexistence between you and your other parties that you're involved with.
So, Brandy, I want to ask you you have verbal and nonverbal boundaries. In what
Yes.
ways do you assert a nonverbal boundary? Because we always speak on boundaries. No, I don't like this. No, I need more time. What are some nonverbal boundaries that you like to set?
I would say just simply being nonverbal. To be quite honest with you, less is best. Sometimes no response is the best response. People say some outlandish things and they really want you to engage with this outlandish behavior that they're projecting onto you. It could be an insecurity, it could be whatever it is. Sometimes no response is the best response. Simply, I'm going to call you back. You know what, I'm not even going to answer, I'm not even going to reply to what it is that you just stated, because it's so outlandish and it's so far off of where I want myself energetically to be that it doesn't even deserve a response. So sometimes no response is the best response, and that is the best way to communicate non-verbally to someone. Because guess what, when you engage with someone, when you hooping and hollering, all you doing is exhausting yourself, exhausting them, and probably confusing everybody in the
And
meantime.
wasting all of
And
that
wasting
quantum healing.
all that energy. Like, who got time for that? I'm just not even gonna respond. Also, is learning how to cope, learning your own coping mechanism. Maybe you like to paint. Maybe you like to talk like me and Nigel. This is a coping mechanism for me.
And also, I would like to add,
Hmm.
because you know me, I'm always going to bring up our intersectionality and where we stand in this society. As Black Americans, when we see our kids gravitate towards certain things, we're so quick to make them monetize it, and contribute to hustle culture. Some things need not be monetized. If your kid likes to paint or play basketball, you don't always have to push going to the NBA because you made poor financial decisions before they got here. They do not have to carry that weight of picking up your slack as a grown up adult because they express interest. Because we need outlets that are not monetized so that we can keep a sense of our own identity. So I also wanted to add that in there.
I love that. And I'm going to piggyback on that because a lot of people say, oh, wait, it's too late in the game. Or you're not getting paid for that. I was just sharing with Earls that I do a volunteer work at Maywood. I'm not being per se compensated for it. But as you just heard, I had a great time with my
Great
students.
time.
I had a
Absolutely.
great time with my students. So everything is not about being monetized and being compensated. Sometimes energetically you can be compensated. And just doing one thing, one door can open that can lead to other doors. And that
Healing your
door
inner
leads to
child.
other doors. And that's healing your inner child,
Yep.
your inner self. So being able to know who you are and what serves you and what makes you feel the best version of yourself. Again, quantum leaping into your future. Maybe I don't get paid for this specific thing now, or maybe my child doesn't get compensated specifically for this skill set, but in the future they can. So let's talk about those things. Also, is seek forgiveness for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for the people that you coexist with. You have to have forgiveness, and in forgiveness you move forward. You right?
Yes, and I also want to add there's two sides of the same coin. There is power in not forgiving. And I also want to add that because people think that forgiveness means readmission, reentry, direct access to disrespect you and your boundaries. With some people in some scenarios, you may have to say, I do not forgive you, and leave it at that. Because like we mentioned earlier, we have an addiction to certain dynamics and we think that we have to tolerate things that we are not necessarily comfortable with. So sometimes you have to leave things where they are and leave
Absolutely.
people where they at. No, I don't forgive you. You stay over there, I stay over here.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. And for a empath, that may be a little harder for some than others, but learning that skill set is essential, especially for growth, right? Also, is maintaining your happiness, right? Maintaining your happiness is an important key component to quantum leaping. You have to one first cultivate gratitude, right? Cultivate gratitude. Also, nourish the relationships you have. Take care of what? Your physical health, and practice mindfulness. Set goals and boundaries towards what it is that you want to do. Engage in activities that bring you joy and seek help when needed. So, in all some of those things that I explained, Nigel, what is one of the things that stands out to you as far as happiness?
So happiness to me are the simple things, expressing gratitude, even if it's minuscule. every time I feel stuck or I feel invisible or any of the feelings that we naturally feel as humans that we don't usually want to verbalize, I go into a state of gratitude. I am grateful that my cells are dividing at a rate that keeps me functioning. I'm grateful for the bacteria in my gut that's breaking my food down. I am grateful that I'm able to breathe without assistance. It's automatic within my body. All of my bodily functions and systems are at a state where I don't need assistance from anything outside of any machines, any IVs. I'm grateful for the ability to be able to get into a car. Whether the car note do it or not, I didn't say that. I'm just grateful I'm able to get into
Y'all
it.
better be paying them car notes.
Pay a car note.
Pay your car note. Pay your fare. Pay your fare.
Just the ability to be able to participate. There's a lot of opportunity in that, and we take everything for granted, especially when we hyper focus on what we don't have. We forget all the things that we do have and all of the obstacles that we have overcame. I'm grateful that I'm alive, you know?
Absolutely. And I love that. And we're going to be actually wrapping it up, but speaking about the gratitude, the attitude of gratitude is so essential. And us wrapping all up because we're going to be in the next few episodes talking about quantum leaping. Everything is going to be about you being in tune with your highest self. Understand the best version of you actually does exist. And you just have to tune into that frequency. It's just like a radio. It's just like this channel. You tune into this channel. So you have to dial into the frequency in which you desire to be and become it. As Nigel stated, you have to be it, whatever that reality looks like. Even if I gotta fake it to make it, if I gotta go to a high-end restaurant, even if I can only afford to drink coffee or get a drink, hey, that's fine. I'm in that atmosphere. So naturally, that's going to rub off on me, right? So, what are you doing? You're time jumping, you're shifting parallels. So, metaphysics is a huge part of this reality and this metaverse that we're going into. So, I guess I want you guys to get in tune with it. I want you guys to know what it is about. I want you guys to do the healing, do the work, and to understand that yes, there are certain things within our DNA that is healing us and hindering us. There's things that's hindering us and healing us, but being able to atone from those things, being able to grow past those things is so essential. So with that being said, I don't know if Nigel want to piggyback off of a few things.
I don't have anything left to add. We have a lot of goodies coming in for you guys
Yes.
soon. I'm very excited to take you guys on this journey with us to holistic healing and elevating our well being. Thank you.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys tuning in. It was a quick show, but trust your girls will be back. Again, today's show was brought to you by True Essence. We are a unique spiritual spa, providing all the spiritual tools you need to ascend in your journey. Remember to write down your goals, be one with your goal, be one with the creator, be one with your thought, be one with your highest self. Your highest self is rooting for you, your team is rooting for you, and we are rooting for you. We are here with you in this experience, and we are vibrating on a frequency in which we desire. We thank you guys for tuning in with us on Intellectual Radio. It's your girl, Brandy J. Check it out for the day. Thank you guys. Bye.